Hello, Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Walid Athman. I'll be presenting my PSM2 Progress 2 presentation. So for the presentation content for today, I'll be presenting the methodology. I'll be discussing the methodology used, and I'll be discussing the requirements and analysis of the system. So the methodology that is used in the system is the Agile methodology. So the Agile methodology is used because it is a very fast and it's a very flexible methodology. It allows for the development of the system in iterations, which also aligns with the academic schedule because the project needs to be delivered in iterations. So Agile will allow me to do that. So Agile consists of 6 different phases. So each iteration consists of these exact same phases. So the first phase is the planning phase. So during the planning phase, the requirements of each iteration is determined. So I determine the requirements that I need to do for each phase. And then during the design phase, um, after determining the requirements, I determine the different like how to develop these requirements. So after that is the development phase. So during the development phase, um, we will translate the design that we did during the design phase into actual code. We'll implement the design into actual code, functional code. So after that, it's the testing phase. So during the testing phase, we have to make sure that the code that we developed earlier works as intended and is not buggy and does not break the system. So after that, we have the release. So during the release, we will deploy the system so that the users can use it. And finally, we have during the feedback phase. During the feedback phase, the system will always be under review so that any new problem that is introduced, it can be resolved. And so after that, we do this for multiple iterations until the project is fully complete. So the technologies and tools that will be used during the development of this project. So first of all, we have Flutter. Flutter will be used to develop the front end of the project. The reason being it's because the project is a mobile application, an Android mobile application, and Flutter was chosen because it is very optimized for mobile applications. And then Firebase will be used as the back end and database because Firebase is a back end as a service framework. So Firebase will be used um, to develop the backend of the system. Python will be used to develop the machine learning component of the system. The reason being is because Python has many libraries that are made for machine learning. And then Gemini API. So Gemini API will be used to create habit recommendations. So based on the user habits, can send a prompt to Gemini through the API, and Gemini can recommend new habits for the user. And Visual Studio Code is the software tool that will be used to develop the application. So Visual Studio Code is a text editor and will be used to write the code. And Enterprise Architect, it's a graphical tool. So Enterprise Architect will be used for designing during the design phase to create the different diagrams, structural diagrams, behavioral diagrams of the system. And Android Studio will be used to create an emulator, an Android emulator, to run the system in it. So the software and hardware requirements of the system are um, so for the device is the hardware requirements. The device needs to be a phone or a tablet, and the processor needs to be a minimum of a Snapdragon 720G, and the reason being is to handle the machine learning model. The RAM needs to be 3 GB or more. The reason is because of multitasking, Gemini API and habit tracking background process. So the system needs 3 GB RAM or more so it doesn't lag. And for the storage, 50 megabytes to 100 megabytes. And for app installation and for local data caching. So the reason being is caching. So the system needs storage 550 to 50 megabytes to 100 megabytes so that it has enough space for caching. And for the software requirements, the operating system needs to be an Android 9 Pi or above. Okay, now for the requirements and analysis. So first we'll be analyzing the use case diagram. So we have um, we have 6 different models: the account management model, habit management model, AI services model, AI habit recommendation model, notifications model, and data visualization and dashboard model. So for the account management model, we have the register, we have the login, then the habit management model. Um, for the habit management model, we have the habit management features like adding CRUD operations, adding the habit, deleting habit, editing habit, and rescheduling a habit. For the AI service model, so this contains the AI features. There is the request time recommendation. Okay, so the request time recommendation, it's a feature that comes as an extent from the add habit and from the reschedule date and time. So what it does is when you are adding a habit, let's say for example, you get a button that tells you to get AI suggested time. So if you press on that button, it prompts the system, prompts the machine learning model to to suggest the most recommended time from the machine learning model and give it to the user. So this button, you can this feature you can invoke it through adding a habit or through rescheduling an existing habit. And then we have the analyze user behavior for the machine learning model. So for this, the machine learning model can analyze the user behavior, like for example, the completion rate of a certain habit and the duration, the actual duration of completing a habit. Like let's say, are you finishing the habit completely or are you finishing only half of the habit? Things like that. It will help the machine learning model to determine the most efficient time for the user. So it's also based on the category. So uh, let's say it will analyze whether the user prefers a certain category more than another or not. And then the AI recommendation model, AI habit recommendation model. So this model is for the Gemini API. So the user can request a new habit recommendation, and then when the user does that, the Gemini API receives the user habit list as a prompt, and then sends it to the Gemini, through the API and receives new recommendations. And same with requesting modification to an existing habit. The user can select a specific habit and then request modification to that habit, and then the Gemini API will receive the habit list, and then based on this specific habit, it will try to suggest an improvement to it while also paying attention to the entire list of habits. And then the notification model is for receiving notifications on the phone. And then data visualization and dashboard model. This model showcases all the like the presentation of the data, and so it shows the different visualizations, like different pages. Like for example, you can view all the habits that you have. You can view analysis of a certain habit, and you can view the list of AI habit recommendations, and you can view the daily schedule, like the daily habits, the habits that you have at a certain day. And then we have the system architecture. So this is the package diagram here. So these are different pages, and this is still not the complete version of the package diagram, but so it shows us a rough estimate of what it will look like. So for the model, we have the habit entity. We have the So first, before I explain this, the system is built on the MVVM architecture pattern, which stands for model, view, and view model. So following this architecture and pattern, we have the model, which contains all the business logic, all the entities that are stored in the database are in the model, like the habit completion, and user. And then the view model is like the bridge between the model and the view. The view, the view is the user interface that's shown to the user. The different pages, add habit page, we have the dashboard page, edit habit page, and habit analysis page, habit list page, and recommendation page. In the view model, we have the AI view model, we have the authentication view model, and we have the habit view model. Yeah, and finally, we have the prototype of user interface. So this is a mock-up or a wireframe of the user interface. So the first page here, it shows the dashboard of the user interface, where we can see here it shows how many habits have been completed for this day, and it shows the habits of today. So this habit was completed, and then this habit is in progress. So as you can see, the user pressed start, and now they can um, they can finish the habit before it reaches 5 p.m., or they can um, or they can cancel the habit. And this habit, once it is 7 p.m., it should start. And then this is an example of user interface for creating habits. So when the user press on the plus, they get the habit creation screen. In it, they can write the habit name, specify category, description, duration, and frequency. And then after that, they can either enter the time of day manually, or they can press on suggest best time, and this prompts the system to give the best, most effective time. And it gives a confidence level, like how confident the AI is that this time is good and effective. And that's all for my presentation. Thanks so much.